For this type of problem, we're going to go over problems 2, 3, and 4 in the study guide. We're changing fractions to percents. And remember, it's not about getting these answers right. It's about understanding the process behind what we're doing here. So let's look at number 2. It's 2/25. So we're converting it into a percentage. And we know that percent means per 100 or out of 100. So when we change a fraction to a percent, we're making it equal to something over 100. Luckily, on this first one, 25 actually goes into 100, so the easiest thing we could do here would be 25 times 4 is 100. Anything you do to one part of the fraction, you have to do to the other. So we're actually going to then multiply the numerator by 4 as well, and we end up with 8 per 100, which would be the same as saying 8% because of that percentage sign, meaning per 100. So this one, we're good to go. We can mark off number 2. For number 3, we have 3 250ths. We're actually going to do the same thing here, but we're going to use cross multiplication to help us get this answer. This is what we don't know, so we're going to put an X here. And the reason that this requires a different process is because I don't know how to get from 250 to 100. This process works anytime. It's just on this number 2, it was easier to just multiply numerator and denominator by 4. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to grab a marker, a different color marker, and I'm going to multiply the numbers that are opposite of one another. And they should equal each other. So 3 times 100 is equal to 250 times x. Now, when I say 250 times x, I can actually just write an x because 250x is the same as 250 times x. I'm going to do my 3 times 100, which is 300 equals 250x. Now, to get to get the x by itself, I have to get rid of the 250. Well, if we think about what the 250x means, it means 250 times x. Well, to get x by itself, I need to do the opposite of that. I'm going to need to divide by 250. If that number was 4, if it was a 4x, we'd divide by 4. If it was a 1 million, we would divide by 1 million. We're just doing the opposite of what is shown. So what is shown is 250 times x, so we are going to divide by 250. We have to do that on both sides. And when I do that, I'm actually just going to go ahead and use my calculator. I am done with the 250s because I multiplied and divided, which cancels them out. I'm left with 300 divided by 250, and I get 1 2/10. If you look right here where this x is and I plug in 1 2/10, because the x is 1 2/10, I'm going to end up with 1 2/10 over 100. I know you can't have a decimal inside of a fraction, but we're not using this for a fraction. We're using this to find the percentage. So 1 2/10 over 100 would be 1 2/10 of a percent. So our answer is going to be 1 2/10 of a percent. Okay. Another way you can do this that I want to show you about real quick is you can first convert it to a decimal using your calculator. You can do 3 divided by 250, which would be 12 thousandths, and then you move your decimal place 2 times. So we would move it, you can't see my Sharpie since it's black, but you'd move it 2 times, and then that would give you your percent of 1 2/10 of a percent. So that's a good way to double check your answer as well. Now for this, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Actually move my paper. There we go. I first need to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. Like I've said in class, rarely can we use the mixed number when we're converting things and trying to solve things. We almost always have to convert it into a mixed number or into an improper fraction. So let's do that. I'm going to do 50 times 2, which was 100, plus 41, which is 141, and I keep my denominator. So I'm still going to make it equal to a percentage, which would be something over 100. This is an awesome one because 50 does go into 100, so I can just do 50 times 2 and then do the same thing to the top number. So if I take my calculator and I multiply that numerator here and I do 141 times 2, I end up with 282 over 100. And you do not need to convert this into a mixed number because we're just finding the percentage. 282 per 100 would be